YouTube, what is up? Back for another little workout vlog. So we'll be doing a little shoulders and arm session today. So some pump work, upper body pump work. So kind of with my training, what I like to do kind of in the middle of the week or day 3 and day 6 is it is a shoulders and arm session and some ab work. But it's kind of a lower intensity session. So earlier in the week, I'll do my sprints, or first day of the week, I'll do my sprints and lower body. It's very highly demanding on your central nervous system, very systemically fatiguing. So do that. And then the next day I'll do a chest back or a push pull, my main push pull, and then some conditioning intervals. So kind of not as demanding as that second day, but still a pretty dense day. And then the third day, which is today, do more of a shoulders and arms, some bodybuilding work, some isolation work. Not super fatiguing, but you can get some bodybuilding stuff in. And I'll probably do a little conditioning later today. And then I'll repeat that for a second thing. So kind of with my training, a little interesting now. I'm doing I'm kind of doing a hybrid between like my traditional like athletic training where it's sprinting, jumping, lower body, power, and I'm doing a little more upper body bodybuilding just because I'm not currently playing a sport, and it's fun to play around with stuff. I want to lift more, and this kind of allows me as the fluctuations throughout the week. So it's a fun little training model, and so we'll get into it. But yeah, make a little vlog, do this, probably get some groceries, show what I get from the grocery store, some easy foods to make if you're looking for some food ideas, and then I'll probably come back, do a second workout later, I'm gonna think of a conditioning workout, something a little different, more of like a Metcon style where it's thrown in like carries and shoulder, sandbags and stuff, and some assault bike, play around with that, and that's a fun thing. I already hit this day's kind of fun too, because especially with the conditioning, I can play around with different stuff. I already hit my main speed and conditioning. I know what I'm doing those days, but it's always fun to have a day where it's you know what you're going to do, but you can kind of go with the flow, it always makes training more fun. You get some ideas you can play around with. You get to test some stuff out and maybe really like it, and you implement it as part of your routine. Or maybe you hate it and you never do it again, but I think it's a fun part of training. Obviously, you want to have, a game plan going in, in order to progress, but I think leaving some variables up where you can manipulate them slightly. One, it keeps training really fun, and two, it's just fun. So keeps training fun and it's fun. So that's the same thing. But we'll get into it. We'll hop into it. Got the tightest tank top in the world on. These are stretchy material, super nice. I'll probably wear these in another video. But yeah, let's get rolling. Starting this session off, a little warm up here, so some Cuban presses. I really like these. You grab 2 red bands or 2 orange bands, do a little face pull right to that eye level, externally rotate out, then press out. Really warms up the shoulders, the external rotators, the rotator cuffs. Kind of just gets the shoulders moving, lubed up prior to getting into that overhead pressing work. So I'll do 10 reps here. Just move through it, nothing crazy. And then I'll go into this Y raise here. So Y raise, you can do it a million different ways. You can do Y raise on a bench. I like doing it with the rings just because we have rings. Do it with a TRX, but let's sit you here. You're keeping those arms straight and you're just trying to make a big Y. So nice big Y. Arms coming out to 45, really good for the lower trap, but also warming up shoulders, rotator cuffs, a little bit of everything. Again, prior to pressing, some overhead strength, kind of putting your shoulder in different positions too can also be beneficial for some prehab work. So did 2 rounds there, and then today I also added with the warm-up just some tricep pushdowns. I did 25 reps. My elbows were super tight. I mean, the day before I did bench, I did chest and back, so sometimes the elbows act up a little bit. So been doing these, actually just throwing some blood into the triceps and the elbows, just a light band, 25 reps. So did 2 rounds of that, 10 Cuban presses, 10 Y raises, 25 tricep pushdowns. Also get a little meaty pump going into the session, so can't go wrong with that. And then we got into the main lift. So barbell overhead press. I just want to do a classic 5x5 on this day. 5x5, just, nothing wrong with it. Size and strength there, 25 quality reps at a heavyweight. So 185, don't know the exact percentage, probably 82-ish, I would imagine, of my 1 rep max. But there's some grinders today. It was a hard set. I filmed the first, third, and fifth set. Make sure I actually got through all of them all, but I love overhead presses, obviously as a main staple movement, but so good for just building overhead strength. And there's nothing cooler than just putting a heavy weight over your head. I don't know, I feel like it's the all-time lifting move. But love overhead presses here. So 5 sets of 5, Did that the day before, also on my bench press and my Pinlay row, my barbell row. Again, just a classic 5x5. Trying to get some good volume with some heavier weights. Fun to do. Never stray away from the old school methods as they work. And then got into this fun little mechanical advantage drop set. So mechanical advantage drop sets, essentially you're going from a weaker movement into a stronger movement. For example, on this one, I'm doing a seated dumbbell lateral raise, and then I'm going into a standing dumbbell lateral raise. So typically you can handle more weight on a standing dumbbell lateral raise. So you go from a weaker movement here and you go to failure. So I went to failure in that 10 to 12 range. Essentially went until I couldn't get that full range of motion. Put the weights down, rested about 10 to 15 seconds, and then I just banged out as many extra reps as I could and a standing raise. So these are really fun to do, and you can do them with a variety of movements. If you look up mechanical advantage drop sets, Christian Thibodeau is very big on them, but they are super fun to do, and there's so many different variations. Again, you're going from a weaker movement into a stronger movement. You can get some extra volume with it, which is super beneficial and obviously good for hypertrophy there. So did 4 sets there, ended up getting like 9 to 10 on the seated, and then like 4 to 5 on there. Super fun. And then the old Sony died, so I went to the iPhone. As you see, the quality changed a little bit. Went into these head-supported reverse flies. So all it is a reverse fly. You're just putting your head there to kind of be a little more strict with the movements. You're not wobbling, going all over the place. With these, I was trying to focus on. I get to the point with these where sometimes I go too heavy and I feel like I'm not getting enough range of motion, so I lighten it like 5 pounds. I was really thinking about really coming out as high as I can and trying to squeeze at the top for a second, and then try to be somewhat controlled on the way down. Doesn't look super controlled, but ended up getting 15 reps there, and it was pretty nice. Like, felt in control more, felt more in my rear delt, really squeezing, and then got into these side lateral raises. So again, been doing these two, really like them, holding on to that rig for support, and then kind of that lean into it. So not standing straight up, really leaning into it, get a huge range of motion. Good thing with these is like you get that huge stretch reaching across your body and then coming to the side there. So some extra lateral work. The first shoulder day, I'll usually do 2 lateral movements, 1 rear delt, and then the second one I'll do 2 rear delt, 1 lateral raise. Just trying to build some bolder shoulders, some cannonball delts. Can't go wrong with that. But good movement here. Went till failure, like 10 to 12 range. I think I got 12 each set. With these, you don't have to go super heavy, as they are pretty hard to do, get that range of motion. And then we got into the arm farm. So arm farm, did some easy bar, technically skull crushers, but I guess a line extension because you're going past your head. These are really good if your elbows don't hurt, if your shoulders don't hurt, as you can get such a deep range of motion. So I'm trying to keep that weight right over my head, not coming over my chest. Keep that constant tension on the tricep, and then coming all the way down behind your head, huge stretch in the tricep, and again at the top, really flexing that tricep. These will pump those suckers up like nothing else. This and dips are my favorite tricep movements. Just blow you up. Did 4 sets, 10 there, kind of failed on the last one. Used throw it on the way down, and then superset it, just notched that bench up. I think I went at like a 37.5 degree incline with these, so going a little lower with the incline curl here. These are awesome too. It's again such a big stretch at the bottom, especially you can play around that bench height. The lower down you are, give me a lot of tension on that bicep there. So did 4 sets, 10 here as well with some 40s. Really trying to reach at the bottom and almost let like a full stretch and almost let the dumbbell like kind of come out of my hands. Get as much range of motion as possible because that's where you can get the biggest stretch there. So 4 sets there, little bis and tris, superset, and then finish the arm and shoulder pump fest with some cable pushdowns here. So 3 sets, I believe I went in that 10 to 12 range. I love just a classic pushdown with the straight bar. So you can do it with the rope, the straight bar. I like straight bar a little more because I'm stronger and I can really get over that weight. So get over that weight and I can really push down, squeeze at the bottom, and then control it on the way up, get a full range of motion, push, squeeze. Really like that movement there. So 3 sets, about 12 range, and then went till failure there. Just drop that sucker down and supersetted that with a cable curl. Again, cable curl, I love these straight bars. I was doing cable curls with more of the hammer and the rope, and I didn't like it because I couldn't get a full range of motion. So what I'll actually do is I'll actually stand on a bumper plate to get a little extra range of motion. That's also because I'm 5'10", so if you're like 6'2", you probably wouldn't need it. So that's just my fault for being short. But this cable curl, constant tension throughout, super nice here, just gripping and ripping, trying to be, pretty controlled at the way down. But again, in that like 12 to 15 range, just blow the arms up. 3 sets here. So 7 sets of buys and tries on this day. Getting around like 12 to 14 a week. And same with that lateral and rear delt, getting around like 14 sets a week there. So just an extra bodybuilding day. Super fun to throw in the middle of the week. Not super systemically fatiguing. Back from the gym. First off, nothing better than getting back from the gym and just ripping the shirt off. Letting the chest breathe. Letting breathe in the kitchen. But anyways, we're getting into this meal. I'm stoked for this one. Been making these. It's just a burger. It's just a simple burger, but we're doing a little Dave's Killer Bread right here. About 160 calories per one. There's actually 6 grams of protein per one. It's pretty good. And then we got right there 2 big fat patties. So we got 93.7 Bob effing ground beef. You probably won't get that reference unless you grew up in 757 Virginia, because I'm pretty sure it's a local radio station. But 93.7, I guess it'd be a full pound, but once you weigh it, it's usually like 12, 13 ounces. So we'll go 2 of those. And then on top, I'm gonna throw 2 eggs because I love eggs. And I never had an egg on a burger until like 2 weeks ago. And I can't believe what I was missing out on, because I love eggs and I love beef. So match made in heaven. And then I'll throw some onions on there, some pickles, some tomato, and then some ketchup. Should be good. Probably be like 1,000 calories, probably like 80 grams of protein. So I am stoked for this. I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, we're whipping it up. All right, I am freaking stoked for that. It's like 11.5 ounces of beef. We got the runny egg on top. We dressed up that bun. It's like 990 calories, 96 grams of protein right here. A dense meal, 96 grams of protein. That's pretty freaking good. I am stoked to eat this. Looks great. Super lean ground beef burgers. Back on the menu. I am fired up to eat this. I'll let you know how it tastes. All right, first bite. Juice went everywhere. That's when you know it's well cooked. Oh, baby. It's delicious. It's delicious. Just finished that meal. It was banging. That was awesome. But I figured I did a recent Q&A on Instagram. I got a lot of questions about like my macros and calories. So right now I'm eating like 3,200 calories a day. Kind of in a slight cut. I'm kind of playing around with it. I'm weighing in the morning at like, I think it was 195.4 this morning. So in the 195s, which is like the lightest I've been in like 7 years. So kind of cutting, maybe. I don't really have a goal number, a goal weight. Maybe like sub 195. For the longest time, if anything under 200, I was like, I can't get under that. A little different being at 195, but I mean, morning weight's 195, so I'm probably really walking around 198, 199. But yeah, just playing around with the calories. 32 seems to be, I mean, it's a lot of calories. Obviously, it's got to, help with the training. I'm training a lot, and, it's obviously very important to me. But playing around with the little bit of a cut, so we'll see. But anyways, as far as my macros, typically, I don't really have set, like, fats, carbs, and protein I try to hit every day. I just make sure I get enough protein in for me. Obviously, you want to shoot for like a gram per body weight, so that'd be 200 pounds for me. That's the easiest in the world. I love food time protein. As you can see, I just ate something at 96 grams. So I typically probably get around 240 grams. And that's kind of the biggest number I try to get. The fats and carbs, like generally, like some days, I would say more of ranges. So maybe my protein's between 25 and 30% of my calories, probably closer to 30%. Some days my fats are probably closer to 30, my carbs are closer to 40. And then other days, maybe my fats are closer to 25 and carbs are closer to 45. So carbs can be anywhere between like 300 to 400, fats anywhere between like 80 to 120. It's just kind of depending on what, if I eat like salmon and eggs in one day, it's gonna be a lot more fats and a lot less carbs. Whereas if I, have more chicken or more leaner meats, then it's probably gonna be more carbs and more rice with it. So I like the way it is. I mean, obviously set macros are good, but I think this range kind of helps a little bit. I think more the overall calories, and I kind of eat the same stuff throughout, or the same theme of food. So that meal, that was fun. It was super high in protein, super good, and only 990 calories. So typically anything under 1,000 calories, I'm like, wow, and it's filling, I'm stoked with. So right there, and then I eat like 4 times a day. So breakfast, like a lunch, a dinner, and then a snack either between breakfast and lunch, depending on when I work out, or after. So today will be after. So yeah, been enjoying that, and I think it's helped a lot kind of finding like for the longest time, I was like obsessed over food, and I was getting so obsessed over it that, it's been good that now I kind of have like a little routine with it. So super stoked for that. But anyways, yeah, macros, those are kind of what I do. Not saying it's the perfect way to do it, but I think it takes a little stress out of it and makes it more attainable. And I just try to eat, quality foods, high quality foods. And, honestly, I could eat anything in that meal and I would have been stoked about it because I just like food and any meal is good to me. So yeah, that's the macros. And then as far as my training, so I'm all about trying to get power jacked. So what power jack means is trying to be as athletic as possible and then as jacked as possible. So kind of with my training, first day of the weeks, I'm gonna do all my high intensity stuff, my sprints, my jumps, my lower body lifting. The second day, it's gonna be more of a chest back or a push pull. So upper body, your main compound movements, pushing and pulling, and then some tempo intervals or some run intervals. And then the third day, which was today, some shoulders, arms, abs. I'll do some extra conditioning. And then I'll kind of repeat that again. Go back to the sprints, jumps, lower, the chest and back, and the tempos. And then the last day, kind of shoulders, arms. I do some extra lower body stuff. But kind of the way I like to do it, I like doing a lot of like athletic movements. But, as I'm not playing a sport right now or really training for anything, I'm spending a little more time lifting and doing a little more volume in that. And it's actually been really fun. So, but enjoying that. I think I'm going to start training for something. I'm going to think of a challenge. I'm thinking of a challenge I want to try to train for. So we'll stay tuned. We'll get after it. But yeah, this one's just kind of a vlog. Chill for a couple hours, do some work. And yeah, I'm going to go back to the gym, probably do some conditioning, some abs, maybe hit the sauna cold plunge. Would be a good one. So back at the gym, a couple hours later, ate some good food. That burger was delicious. So got into some extra ab and condition work. So all I did for abs was just 4 sets, 15 of this cable crunch here. So I actually lightened the load than what I've been typically doing because I feel like I'm probably going a little too heavy. And I stepped back from the machine a little bit. So really, instead of being straight under and just crunching down, I was really trying to think about crunching down, but also coming back. So bringing my elbows to the knees, really crunching back, and then being nice and controlled on the way up, and then letting that rope pull me down. Also use these pads under my knees so I wouldn't be sliding around because typically I'm sliding around and with the cable stack because pretty heavy on these. So 4 sets of 15 here. I'm hitting abs 3 to 4 days a week just because I enjoy doing ab work. So typically 3 to 4 sets at the end of a session or on an upper or lower day. I'll do a toes to bar one day. I'll do a cable crunch one day, an incline reverse crunch, and then I'll throw in carries throughout the week. So getting some good volume there. And then went from there, got into this conditioning circuit. So again, kind of talked about early in it, but was playing around with this conditioning circuit here. It was kind of fun, like mixed modality conditioning. So I implemented an assault bike for 40 seconds. And then from the assault bike, I went into this 80-pound sandbag, like ground to shoulder. So I was picking up right into my shoulder. And then I just did a carry variation. So the carry variation I used was a 2 kettlebell front rack carry. So 40 seconds at each station, probably ended up being like a 5 to 10 second transition between the two. So it was usually around like 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and then I'd rest 2 minutes. So essentially a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. Again, this is something I actually have never really done this workout before. Something I'm playing around with. Typically on these days, I would just do some assault bike, ski erg, rower, but I wanted to throw in these other implements and also see how carries I could utilize them in conditioning. So again, fun to experiment with stuff. With my conditioning, I'm sprinting twice a week and then conditioning 3 times a week. So my other 2 conditioning days are running based, where it's running intervals, and I really like doing one form of conditioning, kind of just break up the monotony, but also play around with different stuff where it's either assault bike, again, skier, grower, and then as of today, I think I'll start doing more of these mixed modality stuff. And I'll tell you what, my legs were cooked. You go from that assault bike into those sandbag, and the legs were smoked there. And then just this carry variation. So I literally just walk down and back. It's not really about the distance you're doing with that. It's more about the time, really just trying to tense your core throughout, get the full 40 seconds. So obviously I go on the shot for like 20 seconds as I'm walking down and going back. But I ended up doing 5 rounds of this. It was kind of fun. So again, 40 seconds assault bike, 40 seconds sandbag to shoulder, 40-second carry, 2-minute rest, 5 times, and again, like a 5 to 10 second transition, however long it takes you to transition throughout it. But definitely a fun variation to play around with. I was maintaining maybe 80% on the assault bike, but yeah, some good old conditioning right there. All right, just finished that. It was pretty fun. somewhat fun, as conditioning be. 40 seconds of each. They sub like the sandbag. Legs got a little heavy, but it was fun doing that 5 rounds. Good conditioning. Now I'm in the sauna, little infrared sauna. I'm gonna go 20-minute sauna, 2-minute plunge, 2 times through. So a little recovery here. Been implementing this. It's freaking a cheat code that I got in my gym, but been utilizing this 2 to 3 times a week, and seeing how it impacts me. I'm new to it, so still seeing how it impacts, but it's awesome. Just finished that conditioning sauna plunge. Golly day, that freaking feeling of getting on the sauna into the plunge and then going from the plunge back into the sauna is an all-time feeling. I feel invincible. I feel freaking invincible right now. But yeah, it was a good day of training. So got the little lower intensity day, shoulders and arms in the morning, and then some extra ab and conditioning work, the sauna plunge. Freaking great day. Show another meal. So I got an apple, Honeycrisp apple. They've been electric recently. And then got 2 Oikos Pro yogurts, about 40 grams protein here. So I'll eat this, be meal number 3, and then I'll eat again tonight. But yeah, another video here. Stoked to keep making these. Next one I'll make will probably be a full day of eating, full day of training. But yeah, just I'll probably make the series called like the Road to Powerjacked or something. I don't know, something related to the way I'm training. But if you are looking to get Powerjacked, link in the description. Great training team, way I like to train. It's a concurrent model, so essentially the way I work out. And then also with that, I offer set 8-week programs. So I got 5 set 8-week programs. And then I also offer online coaching. All great resources. Would love to work with anyone, but thanks for watching. If you made this far, any comments or questions, please leave them. DM me on Instagram. Love answering that, but I'll see you in the next one.